I want you to picture something. You walk into your husband's house, the house you are about to move into as his wife, and his mother is sitting in the living room in her robe, feet up, remote control in hand, like she owns the place. And when you say, "We need to talk about the living arrangements," she laughs, not a nervous laugh, not an uncomfortable laugh, a full, confident, "You dash have dash got dash to dash be dash kidding dash me" laugh. And then she looks at her husband, and he laughs too, and she says, "Honey, we were here first. We're not going anywhere." I stood in that living room, in that house, on what was supposed to be one of the best seasons of my life, and I realized something very quickly. This woman did not see me as a daughter-in-law. She did not see me as a partner to her son. She saw me as a guest in her house that she was never leaving. And that was the beginning of the most confrontational 2 years of my entire life. Buckle up, because this story goes places. Let me set the scene properly because context is everything here. My husband Ryan and I met at work. We dated for 2 years, got engaged, and started making plans to build our life together. Ryan is a good man. I want to say that clearly, and I want to say it early, because this story is complicated and he is not the villain, but he does have a blind spot. And that blind spot has a name. Her name is Linda. Linda is Ryan's mother. She is 61 years old, retired, extremely energetic, and absolutely convinced that she is the most important woman in her son's life. Full stop, no negotiation. Ryan's father, Gerald, is a quiet man who has spent approximately 35 years doing whatever Linda says. He is not mean. He is just absent, in the way that some men are when a strong personality has been making every decision for decades. Now, the house. Ryan bought his house about 6 years before we got together. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, nice neighborhood. His parents lived about 4 hours away at the time. But 2 years before our wedding, Linda decided that 4 hours was too far. She wanted to be closer to Ryan, so Ryan, being the good son that he is, told them they could stay with him temporarily while they looked for a place nearby. That was 18 months before our wedding. They were still there when he proposed to me. They were still there when we set a date. They were still there when I started packing my apartment. And when I finally sat down with Ryan and said, "We cannot start our marriage with your parents living with us," he agreed with me. He said he would handle it. Reader, he did not handle it. About 6 weeks before the wedding, Ryan and I sat down with Linda and Gerald together. Ryan led it. I sat next to him. We had talked about what we were going to say, how we were going to say it. We had a whole plan. Ryan said, very calmly, that after the wedding we were going to need our own space as a couple. That we loved them and wanted them close. That we would help them find an apartment in the area. That we had actually already looked at a few options nearby, nice ones, affordable ones. That this was about us starting our marriage with a healthy foundation, not about pushing them away. He was respectful. He was clear. I was proud of him. Linda listened to the whole thing, and then she laughed. I'm telling you, it was the laugh that changed everything for me. Because it wasn't just rude, it was a message. The laugh said, "I do not take you seriously, either of you." She said, "Ryan, this is your house. We are your family. You don't tell family to leave." Ryan said, "Mom, I'm not telling you to leave forever." She talked right over him. "Your father and I gave up our home to be near you. We are not going to be pushed out by," and she paused and she looked at me. And she said, "A new situation." That. Essa nos fiance situation. Gerald said nothing. He was looking at his hands. I looked at Ryan and I could see it happening in real time. The way she was pulling him back. The way the guilt was creeping into his face. I had seen it before. But I had never seen it this clearly. I said, and I want to be precise here because I have replayed this moment so many times. I said, "Linda, with respect, this is a conversation between Ryan and me as a couple. We are asking you, clearly, to make a transition plan, that's all." She looked at me for a long moment. And then she said, "You're not married yet, sweetheart." We got married, beautiful wedding. Linda cried during the ceremony, which I will admit confused me emotionally. And then we came back from our honeymoon, 10 days. It was wonderful. Do not let anyone take your honeymoon from you. And we walked back into that house, our house. And Linda had rearranged the living room furniture while we were gone. I stood in the doorway of my own home after my honeymoon, and the couch was in a completely different place. I won't walk you through every incident because we would be here for 3 hours, but let me give you the highlight reel. Linda would cook dinner every night without asking what we wanted, and then act wounded if we weren't home to eat it. She went through the mail, not just the household bills, our mail. I found an open bank statement on the kitchen counter with a sticky note on it that said, "Is this a good interest rate?" She commented on everything. I bought everything. I brought home a new set of towels once, nice ones. I'd been eyeing them for months, and she picked one up, looked at it, and said, "These seem thin, that's it." That's all she said. These seem thin. She would knock on our bedroom door on Saturday mornings. Not for emergencies, just to tell Ryan things she had thought of. At 7 a.m. on a Saturday. And Ryan, sweet, conflict-avoidant Ryan, kept saying she means well. She had just give it time. I gave it time. Time did not fix it. 8 months into our marriage, I came home from work on a Wednesday. I had had a brutal day. I was exhausted. All I wanted was to sit down in my own home in silence for 20 minutes. I walked in and Linda was on the phone, loudly, at the kitchen table. She held up a finger at me, like 1 second, and kept talking. I went to our bedroom, changed my clothes, came back out. She was still on the phone. I went to make tea. She had reorganized the cabinets again. I couldn't find the mugs. I opened 3 wrong cabinets before I found them, and something just snapped. I went into the bedroom. I called Ryan, and I said 6 words. She leaves or I do. Ryan came home within the hour. We had the most honest conversation we had ever had in our marriage. I told him that I loved him, that I was not trying to cut his parents out of his life, but that I could not continue to live like a guest in my own home, that his mother had made it clear from day one that she did not respect me, that he had promised to handle it and had not handled it, and that if our marriage was going to survive, something had to change today. Ryan sat there and he listened. And then he said something I did not expect. He said, "You're right. I've been a coward, and I'm sorry." Ryan talked to his parents that same night. I was not in the room. That was my choice. I had said what I needed to say to my husband. It was his turn to say it to them. I sat in our bedroom and I heard the conversation happening in the living room. I couldn't make out every word, but I heard Linda's voice rise. I heard Gerald say something low and steady. I heard Ryan's voice, firm, in a way I hadn't heard before. No wobbling, no backtracking. At one point, Linda knocked on the bedroom door. I opened it. She said, "I hope you know what you're doing to this family." I said, "I hope you know what you were doing to this marriage." She stared at me, and then she went back to the living room. 2 weeks later, Linda and Gerald moved into an apartment 12 minutes away. Ryan helped them move. I did not help them move. I cooked dinner when Ryan got home. And I lit a candle in the living room that Linda had never let me burn because she didn't like the smell. I burned that candle for 4 hours. I'm going to be real with you because that's what I do here. Things with Linda are not perfect. They are probably never going to be perfect. We see her and Gerald once or twice a month. Some visits are fine. Some visits, I have to go take a walk around the block and breathe through it. She has never apologized. I have stopped waiting for it. What I will say is this: Ryan is a different husband since that conversation. The one where he finally chose us. Something settled in him. He stopped managing me around his mother's feelings and started actually showing up as my partner. We bought a new couch recently. Nobody rearranged it. I burn the good candles whenever I want. And the mugs are exactly where I put them. If you are watching this and you are living in a version of this situation, in-laws who don't respect boundaries, a partner who keeps choosing the path of least resistance, a home that doesn't feel like yours, I want to say this to you directly. You are allowed to take up space in your home, in your marriage, in your life. Setting a boundary is not an attack. Asking for respect is not being difficult. And a partner who makes you feel like the problem for wanting basic dignity is a partner who has some growing to do. Ryan grew. It took longer than it should have. But he got there. And Linda's towels are probably thin too. But they're in her apartment now. So leave me a comment. I know some of you have stories that make mine look mild. I want to hear them. Like this video if you felt every second of it. Subscribe if you're new. Take care of yourselves. And lock your bedroom door.